Welcome to Michigan City Rising, the podcast that celebrates the vibrant spirit of Michigan City, Indiana. I'm Eric Tornes, your host and dedicated real estate agent with App Properties, Christie's International Real Estate. In each episode, we'll dive into the heart of our community, chatting with local business owners, innovative entrepreneurs, and influential public officials who are driving Michigan City's growth. From the hidden treasures to bustling businesses, we'll uncover the stories that make our little metropolis unique and exciting. Whether you're a longtime resident or new to the area, Michigan City Rising is your ultimate guide to everything that makes this place special. In today's episode, I'll be sitting down with Tim from Timothy Jeffery Hair Salon, a popular boutique salon located in the historic Uptown Arts District. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Eric Tornes. I'm a local real estate agent here in Michigan City with App Properties. Today we're going to be doing our first of a new video series where we go around Michigan City and talk with different business owners and just kind of explore what Michigan City has to offer. Today I'm here with Tim, one half of Timothy Jeffery Salon. Welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me today. So what I usually like to do in my interviews is kind of just get a brief background. So if you just want to tell our viewers, where did you grow up? Have you always been a Michigan City resident and stuff like that? So
yeah, thank you. So my journey started, I'm from New Buffalo, and I always believed it's not about a small town. It's about your big dreams and don't be a small thinker. So I love New Buffalo. My mom still lives in New Buffalo. So I started in New Buffalo. And went to college for hospitality management, always knowing that I wanted to be and was passionate about hair.
Okay.
And I learned that as soon as I was old enough to know that my sister had dolls.
Okay.
So I started cutting on my sister's doll's hair, and the rest is my journey. It got a little bit better, thank God.
Yeah.
So I got my degree, and I always wanted to be with people, not managing people. So someone asked me what I would do for free, and it was hair. Mm-hmm. And I went to beauty college.
Okay.
And never looked back. And that same restaurant that I was managing, I became the waiter.
Okay.
Again, working with people. And my first wow moment was, I thought, oh my God, I'm finally going to live my passion and dream. I'm going to beauty college. And my first day, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Because I thought, I'm in fashion, I'm in LA, I'm in New York, all these amazing, beautiful, creative art hair. And it was perms and roller sets and finger waves. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I just left my career for this. And, I just made my difference and made me what I had to do to keep that drive going. And just my focus was graduation. And then I did it. I just got to do it. I was a waiter, like I said. I'd give, every time I gave the receipt or the bill to my clients, I'd also give them a free haircut with me at beauty college.
Nice. Okay.
So it gave me an out of reality of I can be creative.
Right.
So been blessed. Don't ever let people say that hairdressers don't make money or aren't successful. I'm a living proof after 35 years. I started when I was 5.
Oh, wow, okay.
But I'm successful, and I'm excited. Every day I'm very passionate. I work 6 days. I think that passion drives you to work 6 days. I think if you don't love anything, you don't love doing anything, so
right.
People always say, I don't want to go to work. Well, it's probably because you don't like your work.
Right, exactly.
So my drive and passion forges me to 6 days to this day.
Yeah.
So that's my hair journey.
Well, that's awesome. So, where did you go to school?
I went to St. Joe Beauty College in St. Joe, Michigan.
Okay. All right.
So, yep.
And then you said, so I've been in and out of the restaurant industry since I was 14 years old. What was your experience like that? Did you like it? Did you know that wasn't for you? How did you?
Yeah. So, you know what? I never to this day, I'm not good at babysitting or managing. I'm good at mentoring and being a leader. So that was always a rough call for me. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be a part of the team.
Right.
So that was, I'm like, you can't be a manager and not be a part of the team. So
right.
I just knew that management wasn't my gig, and I always knew that hair was. But my first job was the first king at Dairy Queen in New Buffalo, Michigan.
Okay.
And you just learn. Everything's a learning, right? So if you don't know, you don't grow. And I knew I worked as a janitor at one of the manufacturers in New Buffalo. And I knew I didn't want to get dirty.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a janitor. So the things I did, I always wanted my own money at a very young age. So I always wanted my money and spent my money. So that was my drive as well.
Okay.
But I just knew, and I knew because I didn't want to do it. So I didn't want to go to work. And like I said earlier, someone just said, what would you do for free then? Like, you aren't happy. And
Right.
hair was what I would do for free.
Okay.
And, thank God, I don't have to do it for free. It is my livelihood, but I'm very successful just being consistent. I think if you follow what truly is in your heart and your passion, it's successful.
Right. Yeah, that's something that we just talked about my 4 kids, and that's something that I teach to my teenagers. Especially they're in high school, they're kind of discovering some of the things that they want to do outside, and that's exactly what I tell them. After working, like I said, in the restaurant industry, and I've worked odd jobs as like construction, and I even worked in a furniture store where I was building furniture. I just really was in and out of jobs, and I knew this wasn't for me. I spent 17 years in the Army, just that daily grind, I knew there was something bigger, you know what I mean? So what I try to tell them now is, find what makes you happy and learn how to monetize it,
Right.
and that's something that, I try to impress upon them, and hopefully they do take that advice, but how kids are sometimes. So,
Right. Well, the overture is money, right? So, and I'm not in this age. I was in the 80s. So it was not good, better, and different, but it was what your parents and what your mentors and teachers knew. It was money.
Right.
So money
Right.
was your success and your story.
Yeah.
It wasn't the simpleness of what you want to do versus what you should do. So it was like, what makes you money versus what makes you happy.
Right. Exactly.
And hopefully those two would combine.
Yeah.
But to your point with your kids and everything, the drive was different. It was about money.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I had a plan laid out by my parents, and like I said, I knew that wasn't the route I wanted to go, and luckily, I'm on the path that I am now. So,
Yeah.
How long have you been at this location, and do you guys have any other locations in the Northwest Indiana region?
Yep. So I was blessed to open 2 salons within 8 months of each other when I got out of beauty college. It just happened. Everything happens for a reason, and I took those reasons. So I still have a small salon with my partner Jeff in St. Joe, and Michigan. And now I was here. I'm going on 14 years here.
Oh wow! Okay.
It does not seem like 14.
Yeah.
But I watched it seriously grow. And 14 years ago, my friends and clients from Darling were like, "You got to join me and let's do this unit of hair and boutique and all in one." And so I came with them and looked at this location 14 years ago. And I said, oh, no way. In so many ways, no way.
Yeah.
So the building that we're in now, which is gorgeous, but it's very historical. And the only ones that took residency before us for many years was Birds and Mice.
Okay.
So we're like, it was, so we did our thing and when we said yes. But I'm a risk taker. And when I'm like, you know what, if you do it, you talk about things you do versus what you don't do.
Right.
So I've always been successful because I've just not been afraid of 1, change.
Yeah.
And 2, just for going with it. Like if it doesn't work, then it wasn't meant to be. If it does work, succeed. And here I am going on 14 years. We love the growth, just like in hair, the community is growing. We've been blessed with a great clientele. A lot of people back us, support us, believe in us. And we turn that back. We're very community oriented. We're big on mentoring and community and giving back. But it's a great source of, together oneness. Everybody wants to be successful. The conversation, especially on Franklin now, is growing. And oh my God, what's coming next? And oh, did you hear they're coming? So it's become a little, artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
Franklin is like restaurants, art galleries, boutiques, hair salons.
Yep.
So it's really coming forefront. So
right. And then just even like the couple of years that I've been here, I'm new to Michigan City, it's really been amazing to see kind of the growth that's happening, and that's why we're doing things like this interview, and just trying to get everybody's, attention is, what is in Michigan City, because, as you had mentioned, 14 years ago, I mean, even 5 to 10 years ago, a lot of these buildings were just, they were run down, and not a lot of development here, but just a lot what's been happening with the development is wild,
Right.
So it's really nice to see.
Well, to your point, not from Michigan City. The conversation was, it's scary. Nothing's down here, to your point. But again, I didn't know that. So to know is to grow. And
Right.
I just love the development.
Right.
But the energy is amazing. And it is going to, it's like the best kept secret.
Yeah.
That's now speaking out loud.
Right. Absolutely. So what types of services do you offer here in Michigan City?
Yeah. So we did full service up until the COVID. Unfortunately, I don't even want to use that word, but I'm using that word to just define what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're just doing what we do best, which is hair.
Okay.
So we do waxing, but our main focus is what we do best is hair.
Okay.
So we do color, cuts. We're very passionate about hair. We never get stuck with that. We're always, every client being the first time or with us 20 years always gets refueled, and do you want to do something different? If not, okay, but I always want you to know that you can get something different. I don't want to be stuck with anybody. Just hair. So we do everything with hair.
Okay.
We're doing little niches to make us we're trying to be more boutique style.
Gotcha.
So we're adding jewelry and candles. And this spring, we're going to add some other things. We're going to try to do a little boutique style salon. Yeah. Versus typical. I never want to be stuck. I always want to do something different to make something different.
Gotcha. So do you handle let's say, weddings or like main events? Do you have a lot of clients that come in for like special occasions, proms, stuff like that?
Yep.
Okay.
That'll never go away. My partner and I actually are part of an organization called Blossom Time. It's in Southwest Michigan.
Okay.
So we do a lot of mentoring there, but it's a huge 3-county pageant system. So that keeps us really in the forefront of pageantry, updos, fashion, styling. But always weddings, always events, proms.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it kind of gives us a step away from the typical, just cutting. So,
right.
Yeah, but we did that.
And then we had mentioned you were an Avita instructor, or was it? Could you kind of explain what that is, and what what is
Yeah,
what is
yeah. So I've always been a Veda family right away.
Okay.
I like their philosophies. They were mentoring with my, marrying with my philosophies of natural, organic, truthful integrity. So and like I shared with you, I was blessed to own 2 salons in the first year out the gate. But I wanted to always be a hairdresser. I always wanted to cut. That's why I was in the business. So with that being said, that was my step away from managing, owning salons and just behind the chair. And one of my beta reps were like, "Oh my God, you have to interview for this artistic director," which I did, and which I got. So for 4.5 years, I would travel and teach and instruct cutting. I loved it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really nice. I guess what's your favorite part? I mean, I know you touched about just kind of being around people and not necessarily managing them, but leading in a different type of way. But what is your favorite part about being a stylist?
Well, people truly. I'm a people person. Just honestly, you'll never know what's in my head. It gives me a freedom of being like empty-headed. I get to every hair matters to me. Yeah. So I'm a perfectionist with that. Just that creative freedom, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's something that's been going to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? It's one-on-one. It's connecting. It's building. It's creating relationships. Yes. My clients are my billboards, so I'm always excited about that. I'll be out at dinner or at a grocery store, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'll notice someone's hair, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my hair. Like,
yeah. And there's a sense of pride there too, to see stuff like that. And something that I'm also sensing too is, this is a very creative art process. Just like painting or sculpting or music. I've been in the music industry for a long time, and it's just it's a different way to really express yourself. And seeing that out in the open and in public, that must really resonate with you. So that's nice.
I always taught head assistance program because I knew my experience going through beauty college. Beauty college just wants you to pass state board. Okay. So there's no freedom, creativity, forefront of anything other than this is how it's supposed to be. to get you to pass state board.
Uh,
And so many people go, that's all I do. And that's unfortunate because that's not creative.
right.
That's not what's reasonable.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want that myth of, well, it's a good haircut or a bad haircut. I'll go back, I won't go back. So for 35 years, I've always wanted to consistently present consistency about it really is supposed to be about greatness and consistency and art.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want you just to get a haircut.
Right, right. I've never looked at it that way. You know, that is very interesting, and honestly, just now I look at it differently. You know,
Right.
so the way you explain it. So now you were talking about like the curl. I don't know the correct terms, but you know, some of the older styles. But like, how do you stay, I guess, up to date with some of the trends that are going on and how they change, you know, over the years?
Right. Well, that's a great question, especially in this business. So trends is actually not a word to use anymore.
Okay.
Individuality is the key phrase.
Okay.
Not just within hair, but with everything, right? We all want to thrive and survive and strive to be us.
Yeah.
So there's not a, you know, when I was first in the business, it was, you know, the Farrah Fawcett or the Jennifer Aniston or, you know what I'm saying? I want that look. The Demi Moore. Now it's uniqueness. I want what's unique for me.
Right.
People want, when they do bring a picture in, they actually want that whole picture.
Okay.
They don't want just that haircut. So it's more not being stuck. It's more like individual, what your face shape looks like, what your lifestyle look like.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
I'm big on bone structure, but so it's more not a trend. It's an individual.
Gotcha. Do you have like an example? I'm sure there's many of them, but do you have like a story of like a memorable transformation, or just, you know, some instance where, you know, you were working with a client and I mean, it was just, you know, it stood out to you. I mean, you know, do you have a memory that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I have two, and they're the same category. Two things that stick out to me. One, when it's an emotional, they carry a lot of emotion through their hair. And look at me, and I remember just actually recently, this one particular client was like going through cancer, but before that, just a lot of heaviness.
Yeah.
And I've been her client, and I've always been her, you know, mentor, and going, you know, make it light, tell her a joke. I'm a big joke teller and all this.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I just said, you know, if the worst thing is bald is beautiful, and we can do some creative scarves and this and that. And I just was like constantly feeding her positivity. And I got her through that whole thing. And then she kept owning, like, you know what? I am beautiful.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, I'm beautiful. And I got you to remind me. And then her story became, you know what? It isn't the worst thing.
Right.
I'm still alive and I'm still thriving. And I got to, you know, I just got to stick, you know, up versus get down. And I was part of that journey. And to this day, she's my client, and it's great. Awesome. And she's always had long hair. And now she's loving, you know, I got her through the pixie. Then right now we're doing an edgy bob. But you know what I'm saying? Now she's this freedom of letting go. Right. Unfortunately, had to go bad before it got great. Yeah. Yeah. And then another one that is always a stick out is when clients say, my husband would kill me if I cut my hair. That's that's something that's not ever going away, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, that's something that's whatever. And I always say, well, you're not dead yet. Yeah. And you know, and don't give your power away. And they really, you know, all that is power. If you did something, they're not going to do anything, and they'll probably actually go, oh my God, you look great. Because I believe that change is confidence. Yeah. And to make you like, you know, brighter, better. It eliminates that fear and control. So one particular situation that was many years ago, but she kept wanting a shorter haircut and wanting this look. And every time the conversation was, what I want, but I can't have, my husband will kill me. What I want, but my husband will kill me. And I set off the cuff, and I know where it finally came from. And I'm like, he's not going to kill you. Yeah. And if he, you know, if this is the story, then you know what, you're giving him that power. Right. Right. Take it to you. What's the worst thing he does? And he's not going to kill you. Yeah. Yep. Long story short, she did it and loved it. Still has a shorter, never going back to long. Nice. Okay. You know, and I always say, if you look like your senior picture and you're in your 40s or 50s, change. Yeah. Like something's not right there. Yeah. So to this day, she's got that freedom, and her husband didn't kill her. And the story behind that, though, is we saw them at dinner about 4 months into that. He's like, I got to thank you. My wife's ready. My wife has never been sexier. Oh, boom. Okay. And that was my key phrase. Yeah. That was many, like 4, 6, 8 many many years ago, and I still remember the word sexy.
Yeah. Okay.
Not, I like that you cut my wife's hair or whatever, or why did you cut my wife's hair?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we still talk about that. She's still my client too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. And
so that became too long. Sorry, but that was my journey.
Yeah, no. I'm glad to hear that. And, a lot of people do kind of stick with the what ifs, you know what I mean? They don't really, think about the, what is happy in the situation for them right now, what they really want,
Right.
So that's an awesome story. So can you, I guess for anybody that is looking to get into this industry, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I mentor about this business more than ever. Okay. I also mentor today's youth. So it starts with, we have to have conversation, and we have to be being comfortable being with uncomfortabilities of conversation.
Yes.
We have to start conversating. We have to ask today's youth, what do they want? What is their passion? When I do these classes, and I do it quite often, they really don't know what that means truly. So we have to always get them in the forefront of thinking, and bigger than that, this is a customer service industry. It's not a computer.
Right.
So you can't hide behind a cubicle or a computer. You're in the forefront, one-on-one. This is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you have to just get them comfortable. You have to make them confident. You've got to let them know that, it's not about money. Money does come.
Yeah.
The more you're successful about your happiness and passion, that will come. And so I mentor that. It's very important, not just with hairdressers, but in life, to be confident, get those life skills, launch, fail.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid, because I see it, how the youth is not wanting to be hairdressers. They'll do their own hair or their friend's hair in their home, being fun and games, but they don't want to make it a career. And that's what it is. It's a career. I treat this like a doctor, a nurse, an engineer. You know what I'm saying? This is a career. This is not just I cut your hair and done. It's a career. But so great question. But it comes with just having a conversation and then building that no.
Okay. All right. Being comfortable in the uncomfortable. That is something I probably have said, many a times over, and it's very true. Mm-hmm. You do have to get a little bit uncomfortable, and failure too really has a bad rep. Failure can teach us a lot of things. You know what I mean? And it really grows in our success. And when we do become successful, it really plays a part in that, so that's really important.
They're actually starving for that. They just don't know they're starving for that.
Right.
Because as soon as you start talking to them, it's a light bulb. And it's like, oh, wait, someone is asking me questions. Oh, someone is challenging me. Someone is asking me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a light bulb moment. They just don't know that they need that stimulation of connecting. And the biggest thing in this business is, we got to get rid of it, is not right, wrong, but your creativity, your communication to that client. And they're so worried about, the client not liking them, the client yelling at them, not comfortable, having a full conversation. So those are things that are actually, unfortunately, weaknesses that don't need to be.
Right. Yep. So I guess what defines your business, I guess amongst others, but realistically, like what defines your business here?
Yes, so consistency.
Yeah, okay.
Once people know that you respect them, they respect you. Consistency, number one. If you ask anybody that's ever worked for me, it's not about anything that you gave me your time. If it's 1 week or 10 years, you gave me time. So I don't ever get hung up on, oh my God, they quit, or oh my God, this. I'm more like, thank you for your time and your talent.
Right.
And you can ask anybody that. So I'm one of those, I'm a firm believer, compete with yourself. We don't talk about any other salons.
Okay.
And we don't ask the question of where'd you come from, or who'd you go to? It's none of our business. They obviously didn't have a good experience. That's why they're here. So the importance I've said since day one is, they're here. It's about what's here. Okay. And hopefully they don't go to another salon or person after they come here. But we compete with ourselves. We don't ask about any other salons. And I hug. I'm a big hugger. So, and I just make it so there's not a stranger that walks in our salon, period. Okay. The first client, the last client, there's a comfortability, and there's a professional commitment to them.
All right. Do you have any advice as far as between appointments? Now, I don't get my hair cut very often, but when I do, obviously I come here and see one of your stylists, and But what is some advice or tips that you could, give someone at home to just kind of keep things in check, before they come back?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So my mentor thing is a great haircut grows out great. So if you go 6 months, I always say, but look, it just got longer, not badder.
Yeah.
That's a word.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? So people are always like, oh my God, I can't work with it, or it doesn't look good. It probably didn't look good or workable when you left the salon.
Okay.
So a great haircut grows out great. So if you go too long, you get in the concept of it's dry, it's splitting. So you do want a maintenance program, just like with anything, a car or anything.
Yeah.
So, but my big thing is, so success is what success does. I'm booked out. So I always have now instructed and taught or teach my clients to book. So it's depending on what that need is. So it's anywhere from 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. But then they have a relationship and they know the no. So
right.
When people are busy, they don't have to go, wait, I got to keep calling. I keep forgetting to call. It's already in.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So, just last question, where are you guys located here? And then how can people book with your business? Yeah,
a great question again. So 420 Franklin, we're right there in the Art District by 2 beautiful restaurants, Fiddlehead and Leeds, right next to Dolly Boutique. So come and see us. If you want a hairy situation, we're the ones. And 420 Franklin, Timothy Jeffery, and we'd love to see you. If not, I hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Tim, for taking time out of your day. I know you're very busy, but folks, like I said, come down to Timothy Jeffery Salon. This is where I get my hair cut. With that, we'll end the interview. But I appreciate everything that you've done, and at least giving us a little bit of insight, into your history and what you're doing for Michigan City. So thank you again.
I'm gonna keep growing.
All right, awesome.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Michigan City Rising. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and found it enlightening and informative. Remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you liked what you heard today, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family, especially if they're looking for their next salon. Your support helps us continue to bring you the stories and voices that matter to our community. We have an exciting episode coming up next. Join us as we sit down with Michigan City's Chief of Police, Chief Marty Corley. We'll delve into the challenges and triumphs of maintaining law and order in our city and hear firsthand from the chief about his vision for the future. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and keep rising, Michigan City. See you next time.